So I'm your technical guru. So follow everything I tell you when it comes to anything to do with IT, because I am a legend in my own lifetime. Anyway, I better move on, otherwise I'm gonna get muted by Jay at the end. So I'm not going to go through and waste time on introductions, because I've just wasted enough time on speaking whilst you couldn't hear me. If you don't know me, then let's get to know each other. That's what networking is all about. It's about connections. It's about relationships. But today, I want to talk to you about how do we keep things simple in a complex world. So let's start with something simple. It's hard running a business on your own. There is no manual. There is no clear path. And there is no one telling you what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong. And everywhere that you look, there's advice. Do this, do that, post more, charge more, niche down, go broad. Half of it conflicts with the other half. So I would like to bring some clarity during the next few minutes. I want to talk about the reality of being solo. So what happens to all that advice? Okay, well, what generally happens is you try and take bits of all of it, and then you try and implement, usually inconsistently. So you work harder, you try more things, you keep plugging away, but underneath it, there's often this feeling of, am I actually doing the right thing? And that's what we don't talk about enough, because from the outside, everything can look like it's working. We live in this wonderful Instagram world where everybody's successful, right? Everyone's a millionaire. But on the inside, the real side, there is generally uncertainty, pressure, and sometimes just sheer confusion and exhaustion. And there is a common trap that we all fall into. Most people start their businesses for something better, more freedom, more control. Hey, a better life. But over time, the business can start to take over. Everything starts to become reactive. It's too busy. Everything becomes really demanding. And without realizing it, you drift away from the reason that you started in the first place. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because no one's ever shown you that there's a different way in which things can happen. There's a simpler way that I want you to use, a simpler way about thinking about it. So what I've come to believe through my own experience, I am a solo entrepreneur and working with others, is this: running a business does not need to be complicated. In fact, most of the time, it's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things and doing those things consistently. And those right things are not complicated, but they are generally overlooked. So let me tell you about the basics as I see them. Every business, no matter what you do, need a few core things in place. And these are what I recommend that you put some focus on. So firstly, clarity. Where the hell are you actually going? So clarity is not motivation. Clarity is a decision. Do you know where you're going? If you don't, you are likely to end up somewhere else entirely. So clarity to me means knowing what you're building, knowing why it matters, and knowing what you're not willing to sacrifice. So when you feel stuck, overwhelmed, restless, start there. Start at that point. Most problems in business are clarity problems. They're just pretending to be something else. So let's move on to foundations. Foundations are the really boring bits that everybody skips until you start to wobble, that is. For me, foundations are where you start to decide what it is you actually do, who it is you do it for, and how you intend to deliver it consistently. Strong foundations reduce stress and they actually remove guesswork. So if your business is feeling fragile, it's probably not bad luck. It's probably just the fact that you've got foundations that you've built on sand rather than on something that's a bit more solid. And while we talk about solid, here's a segue for you. What about numbers? What about business maths? Numbers don't judge you. They just tell you where you are. And yet most people run a mile when it comes to knowing your numbers. So avoiding them doesn't make things better. All it does is delay reality. So knowing your numbers, and I don't mean the numbers that you give to your accountant. Sorry to all the accountants that are on the call. I mean the numbers that run your business. They give you control. They give you confidence, and they give you the ability to make better decisions. You don't need complex spreadsheets. All you need is honesty. And the next thing I want you to focus on are customers. If you imagine anything else in your world, if you get, keep, and understand your customers, all the rest of the crap about running a business kind of looks after itself. So customers are not leads. Customers are people. And everything improves when you stop trying to sound clever and start just trying to be useful. So you need to understand who you help, what they're struggling with, and what better looks like for them. Because when you do that, marketing just becomes communication. It's not about performance. And then think about growth. But I'm not talking about your business growing from 10 customers to 100 customers. I want you to stop guessing and start leading. Because growth isn't doing more, it's just doing deliberately. So it's where you stop reacting and start deciding on what you focus on, what to delegate, hey, what not to do. Growth happens when you lead rather than letting the business lead you. And the final thing that I want you to think about is that you need to fix the operator before the operation. So this is the lesson that keeps everything else working. You don't get to separate business performance from personal well-being. They're the same system. So if you're exhausted, distracted, resentful, or constantly just pushing through, your business will reflect that. So you have to look after yourself. That's not being indulgent. It's called necessary maintenance. So none of this is revolutionary, but it is where most businesses either settle for what they've got or they start to move forward with purpose. And here's the personal bit. This is the part that matters most. Your business is not your end goal. It's your vehicle. The point of it is to support the life you want to live. But most people never stop to define what that life looks like. They just keep going. They keep working. They keep responding. They keep pushing forward. But over time, the business starts to lead them rather than the other way around. So I'm not going to leave you with a list of things that I think you should do because I know that most of you will ignore all of it. I just want to offer you something a bit simpler. In the next 7 days, I would like you to take 90 minutes of your own time. No laptop, no phone, no distractions. Find somewhere quiet where you can just think. I want you to step away from your business for a moment. And I want you to think about your life. What does your ideal life actually look like? So where are you? What does your day feel like? Who are you spending time with? And most importantly, how are you feeling? When you've got that clear, I then want you to ask yourself one question. Is my business helping me get there? There's no perfect way to do this. There's no blueprint, but there is a simpler way. Just focus on what matters. Keep things clear and do the right things consistently, and allow your business to support your life, not to consume it. Now, if any of this resonates, if you're feeling, oh shit, actually, maybe I should be doing something about that, then just reach out. We'll put the kettle on. We'll have a natter. We'll talk it through. No pressure, no sales, no pitch, just a conversation about how you move forward in a way that actually works for you. I'm Frankie Grit. I'm now going to shut up. Thanks for listening.
Thanks very much, Frankie. Really appreciate it. I would highly recommend